So my friend Jordan Peterson, he was speaking over in Canada at, I'm trying to remember which university this was. And while he was speaking, it was Queen's University. And while he was speaking, people started banging on the windows, trying to shatter the windows at this church. I mean, it's happening in Grant Hall, I guess. I'm not sure if it was a church or if it was just a lecture hall. And people started banging on the windows, people attempting to stop the lecture. They were followed by a bunch of violent people afterward. Here's a little bit of the video from Jordan Peterson's lecture. Again, this is all happening in the same 48-hour period, just demonstrating to you how intersectionality has made the left completely insane.
To kind of speak your mind while not sacrificing kind of the future for that.
Well, a couple of things that are very practical.
Okay, so well done for the college. Where is their security? Why is security not removing those people? Why is security not preventing those people from disrupting the lecture? The answer is because security allows people to do all this sort of stuff because they don't want to be seen as repressive of the actual repressive forces. It's the same reason I get shuttled to satellite campuses at University of Minnesota. It's the reason they shut my lectures to the public at University of Connecticut and University of California, Los Angeles and University of California, Berkeley. It's the reason why we have trouble at every campus because the administrators are too chicken bleep to actually stand up to the violent people. Okay, and it's not just them. It's not just them. There was another case of this last night as well. And I will tell you about that case, and I will tell you more about the intersectional failures of the left in just a second. First, I want to say thank you to our sponsors over at Indochino. So, nothing makes you look better than a custom-made suit. Nothing, right? You're going to instead a department store and you buy one of these things off the rack and then a tailor has to reverse engineer it. Instead, you should be getting your suit made from scratch, just like James Bond. That's what Indochino is for. It's the world's largest made-to-measure menswear company. They've been featured in major publications, including GQ, Forbes, and Fast Company. They make suits, shirts made to your exact measurements for a fantastic fit. And here's how it works. They have showrooms all over the country. You can go there, where they have one in Los Angeles, or you can shop online at Indochino.com. You pick your fabric, you choose your customizations, you submit your measurements. It's actually a really fun process. I've done it myself. My favorite suit is a 3-piece powder blue suit. That's right. Sometimes the Shapiro gets creative with his dress. And I wear that to synagogue. It is one of my favorite suits, and it fits the best of any of my suits because it's custom made. This week, my listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $379 at Indochino.com when you enter Shapiro at checkout. That's Indochino.com. Enter Shapiro at checkout. 50% off the regular price for a made-to-measure premium suit, and shipping is free. So it's Indochino.com, promo code Shapiro. Okay, so again, Indochino, Indochino, Indochino.com, promo code Shapiro. And again, any premium suit, $379 and free shipping. It's an incredible deal for a suit that's going to fit you better than anything else you're going to be able to get. Use that promo code Shapiro to make sure you get the $379 deal. Okay, so it wasn't just Christina. It wasn't just Jordan Peterson. It was also Yaron Brook. So Yaron Brook is an objectivist, meaning that he is a devotee of Ayn Rand. I find his thought really interesting. He and I disagree about some things, obviously, because I'm not an objectivist. I think that Ayn Rand is great on economics and not great when it comes to extending her philosophy to personal relationships. But in any case, he was speaking at King's College, I guess, and he in Britain, and an Antifa mob showed up and shut him down. So here's what that looked like. And then violence breaks out. One of the students who's doing the filming is attacked. Just wonderful stuff. According to the Examiner, this is the London Examiner, I believe, the violent protests also broke out outside after around 200 students were turned away when King's College decided to prevent non-students from attending the event. Again, King's College did exactly what so many colleges have done to me. They've suggested that people should not be allowed to attend from the outside world. Students told the Examiner they believe King's College turned a blind eye to the Antifa members because they disagreed with the content of the speech, but they couldn't legally prevent Yaron Brook and Sargon of Akkad, who's kind of a YouTube figure, from speaking on campus. Students who waited outside the auditorium became enmeshed in a protest. The school knew was coming, and Antifa released smoke bombs and threw punches. Students were in the line of fire. One student told the news organization, quote, "I feel strongly the university caved into the Antifa protesters. They need to protect speech and not prevent people from joining peacefully. They changed criteria just 2.5 hours prior to the event, despite it having been scheduled for months. I'm very disappointed in an institution, a top university in the world, acting cowardly like this." Okay, but this has become obviously the thing the left does. Now, why is the left so angry at Christina Hoff Sommers or Jordan Peterson or Yaron Brook and Sargon of Akkad? Why are they so angry at these people? Well, because all of these people violate the tenets of intersectionality. Intersectionality is the philosophy philosophy. It's identity politics. It's the philosophy that says your identity as a person is your group identity. You're not an individual. You are a group identity. So you're a black guy. You are not a person with individual viewpoints. And if you're a black guy, your viewpoint should be of the left, because otherwise you're not truly black. If you're a Jewish person, you must be of the left, because as we all know, Jews vote Democrat. And that means that if you're Jewish and you're not of the Democratic left, then you must not be a good representative of Judaism. You must not be a good Jew. And therefore, we rip away your intersectional identity. Okay, the foolishness of this is pretty obvious and pretty astonishing. But unfortunately, it has infused the entire left. It really has infused a large portion of the left, identity politics predominating over meaningful discourse, And it's not just these idiotic students, these Antifa members attempting to shut down debate on college campuses. The most obvious example happened actually last night. So my good friend Bethany Mandel, who used to write over at Commentary Magazine, she writes for The Federalist on occasion, and Bethany does a podcast as well. So Bethany had one of the worst childhood experiences ever, right? So Bethany grew up dirt poor in a trailer park. Her mom died. She had to pull the plug on her mom when she was 16. Her dad committed suicide when she was 19. Her dad was a drug addict, apparently. And all of this is to say that Bethany's life story is not exactly a bed of roses. She converted to Judaism. She married my friend Seth. They have a bunch of kids. Really wonderful people. She wrote a piece for the New York Times over the weekend. I think it came out Monday, in which she talked about her experiences and why she owns a gun. And the reason she says she owns a gun is because when she was growing up, she was living with her mom. Her dad had already taken off. And somebody legitimately, they were living, I guess, in an apartment on the second story. Some robber put a ladder to her window and attempted to climb in her window, right, when she was a kid. And her mom walked in with a gun that she had, with a rifle that she had, and pointed it at the window and said to Bethany, move aside or you're going to get brains on you, basically. And when the guy showed up at the top of the window, she said to him, you better run or I'm going to shoot you. And that was the end of that. And so Bethany said, Bethany got a lot of death threats in the last election cycle. She was not pro-Trump. And so she bought a gun in the aftermath of that. Well, Shannon Watts is a gun control warrior. Shannon Watts is a radical gun control advocate. And she decided to attack Bethany for being white. She said that Bethany suffered from white privilege. So do we have some of those tweets? This is 14. So Shannon Watts attacked Bethany Mandel. And what she said was, this New York Times paired this op-ed by a white woman based on her anecdotes of fear and paranoia instead of actual gun safety data with a photo of a woman of color. How dare the New York Times suggest that women of color and women who are white might have common interests when it comes to having a gun? I mean, never mind that there's an actual picture of a woman shopping for a gun right there who's a woman of color. Apparently, according to Shannon Watts, that person doesn't exist. But then she says that all Bethany is a white woman full of fear and paranoia. Not that she had a personal experience with somebody trying to break into her house, or not that she received death threats. Bethany is just a typical white woman, and if she really were not white, then she would understand the threat that guns pose. And then it gets even worse, right? She actually tweeted out a bunch of nastiness about Bethany. She suggested that Bethany was actually a racist, right? Shannon Watts actually suggested that Bethany was a racist for wanting to protect herself from neo-Nazis, which is just all class. And again, all this comes down to is that intersectional politics, right? All this comes down to is a nasty intersectional politics because, again, you know, Bethany's story has nothing to do with her color, but according to Shannon Watts, that is all that matters. She says that the problem with America right now is that people are making gun laws based on emotion, not data. And Bethany replied, I'm sorry, have you not been promoting the Parkland students' emotions for the last 2 weeks? Or are we only allowed to base decisions on certain emotions? And Shannon Watts suggested, quote, your privilege in feeling that a gun will make you safer is in part because you are white. CDC data actually shows the opposite about gun ownership. So Bethany says, a guy tried to climb in my bedroom and kill me when I was a kid. And my mom scared him off with a gun. And Shannon Watts' reply was, you only care about this because you are white. And then Bethany said, I took my mom off life support at 16, had my father hang himself when I was 19, and grew up in a single-wide trailer in Northrop's trailer park in upstate New York. Besides that, I've been truly #blessed, right? Shannon Watts replied, quote, again, your white skin makes you less likely to be at risk as a gun owner, regardless of your hardscrabble background. I guess you don't believe in racism. Okay, so suddenly Bethany doesn't believe in racism because she's actually been threatened by a guy climbing in her window. The intersectionality here is just astonishing. Intersectionality, again, making people stupid every single day. And I'm going to give you another example of intersectionality making people insane and stupid in just a second. First, you're going to have to go over to dailywire.com and subscribe. So for $9.99 a month, you can get a subscription to dailywire.com. When you do, you get the rest of our show live. You get the rest of the Michael Knowles show live. You get the rest of the Andrew Klavan show live. You get to be part of the mailbag, which we are doing here on Friday, and it'll be great. You're going to want to be part of it. So you'll get all of those glories for